Well, tonight we continue our series second time around.
News Channel 13 assignment editor Scott Orr is battling Parkinson's.
Then we introduced you to him in February as he gets ready for life-changing brain surgery for a second time.
His first surgery implanted a pacemaker. When turned on, it stops the shaking on one side of his body. But he now has tremors on his other side. Vida Urbonas takes us along for a life-changing visit to the doctor.
The waiting game in life can be difficult sometimes. In the waiting room for Scott Orr,
it's going to be about 2 years when we actually do the surgery.
There's much to reflect on. And remember, many hopes and dreams changed forever. 2 years since his life-changing brain surgery, where surgeons implanted a device inside his brain. It stopped the tremors on his left side.
I'm glad that it will fix this nasty problem that everybody can see.
But as doctors told him,
and it's not a cure.
The other side of his body would eventually start shaking too. And it did, much sooner than he expected or hoped for.
This side isn't nearly as bad, and yet I'm in just as much of a hurry to get it fixed.
It's getting to be as bad as the first side was. It's just getting there a lot faster.
Yeah, I've been working with model trains since I was a kid.
Making it difficult to do the things we all take for granted.
Holding a tool in my right hand, I'm taking a chance, well, first of all, taking a chance on stabbing myself.
Also grounding him from his hobby as a pilot.
I was a helicopter pilot, and I'm not able to do that anymore.
With optimism from the success of his first surgery, now Scott is back at the neurologist's office to see if he qualifies for another brain surgery.
I can mostly do it.
He expects all to go well, but Scott is used to challenges by now.
I'm not drunk.
After a few simple tests, his exam uncovers old and new fears.
So if we turn you off, you're almost only going to be a little bit worse on this side.
His neurologist, Dr. Rajiv Kumar, turns off the Deep Brain Stimulator controller to see the progression of his condition.
The tremor, at least, component will likely come back to some extent.
I can feel something weird in my hand.
That pacemaker interacts with the chip implanted in his brain.
I have a little bit worsening, not much, but a tiny bit of worsening.
Once off, he goes back to his normal state.
So you can see, look at how much trouble you're having now.
Okay, there it is.
And the left side of his body starts shaking again.
I don't like this.
The side that has stopped shaking for 2 years reverts back into frightening tremors.
I don't like that.
The longer it's off,
I'm ready to have this turned back on now. I'm starting to feel a little weird.
You're going to get more shaky.
Yeah.
The more he shakes, the more he panics.
So that will clearly quickly kick in again.
A scary moment for Scott.
And then, now you're getting a little better. Okay. So
the psychological effect of that is just awful.
Now hoping the surgery will fix all of his problems. Instead, he gets a crushing dose of reality.
Progression of disease over time, your symptoms will get worse, and it's possible there'll be some worsening of tremor still on the left and worsening of slowness over time.
New news that's devastating to hear.
And worsening of certain midline problems such as speech, swallowing, balance, walking. Those things may get worse over time. And those would be also indication to consider using medication.
The Parkinson's has progressed further than he realized.
Stimulation in the brain doesn't just affect motor problems. It affects cognitive functioning and affects emotional functioning. These things are all connected.
I'm still sitting here thinking about the fact that you're seeing other symptoms that I don't even realize I have yet. I think of my symptoms being tremors. When you tell me that I'm getting all the other symptoms that I've read about and I don't even notice it yet, that's kind of scary.
It is. Parkinson's is a scary disease.
When I had no tremors at all, I allowed myself to forget that I had Parkinson's. So when this came back, even though you told me it would, I was just horribly surprised by it, even though I knew it was going to happen.
In denial for so long,
Dr. Kumar has pointed out to me that I'm going to have to face the fact that I'm going to lose some cognitive ability.
Reality finally sinks in.
I have a limited number of things that I can do and still have Parkinson's. Dr. Kumar said you should stick with things that involve using your brain and your ability to think. And that makes sense. But now we're learning that even that's being affected to some degree.
But this pain, this fear is something he wants to share with others.
But I know now, in a very real way, that it's only going to cure the worst of the problem, fix the worst of the problem. It's not a cure for the disease. I'm going to have to experience all those other symptoms as they come along in time.
A simple reminder,
I'll still do what I can.
just how fragile life really is.
I used to have really big plans and dreams, but now I don't feel like I can have them because it doesn't seem like there's any point in planning that far ahead when you don't know what's going to happen, you know?
How hopes and dreams can change in an instant.
When he walked out, he said, "Keep fighting," and I will, because there's a lot of stuff I still want to do, and I'm not going to stop wanting to do it, and I'm not going to stop doing it until I can't anymore, and when I can't, then I'll deal with that.
With photojournalist Isaac Blancas, Vida Urbonas, News Channel 13.
And we hope you get to do those things, Scott. Scott's brain surgery is scheduled for June. We will be there and will continue to bring you his story. You can follow Scott's progress on your computer. He set up a blog on KRDO.